We're here with Bob Woodson, and he's going to explain to us radical pragmatism.
Yeah, I think the question that I was trying to deal with is how can conservatives take that message into areas and among people that are not accustomed to going. Low-income Black and Hispanic communities. I spend almost all of my working life working in and among low-income groups, helping them to develop self-help programs to free them from poverty. And so I've got a lot of experience. We've trained about 2,500 grassroots leaders in 39 states in some of the most drug-infested, crime-ridden neighborhoods. And there are all kinds of exciting islands of excellence in these communities where people are restoring individuals and rebuilding communities from the inside out using the same principles of our founders.
Excellent. Well, we congratulate you for that effort. And it's great to see a citizen who takes it upon himself to voluntarily perform this charitable service. Can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
About maybe some issues that may occur in some of those communities? For example, what is racism?
Racism is what prevented people who look like me from voting, from eating in a restaurant of my choice, to being told when I was young and I wanted to be an architect that blacks are not architect. The racism were the legal barriers and moral barriers to people of color enjoying the fruits of the American dream.
So if you conclude that somebody is not qualified for a job because they're black, that would be racism?
Absolutely. Not qualified because they're, yeah, that would be racism, of course.
And if you conclude that they're not qualified for a job because they're white, would that be racism?
Yes, absolutely.
And if you won't let someone into your club or organization because they're black, that would be racism?
Yes.
And if you wouldn't let someone into your club or organization because they're white, that would also be racism?
Yes.
So could we say that racism is when you use race as a factor to evaluate other people's merits, their skills, their character, instead of focusing strictly on their actions, which is what we...
The content of the character.
Their content, exactly. Their character and their actions will tell, is what we should judge human beings by, not the color of their skin. So the Congressional Black Caucus will not let white congressmen become voting members. Is that an instance of racism?
Yeah, I think so. I don't believe in caucuses of any kind.
Right, because you can have a caucus, but it shouldn't be based on race.
Exactly. And
it should be like you could have a caucus of people that are interested in doing charitable works. Yeah, that's like you.
It's almost self-stigmatizing when you assume that all blacks are alike. That's what racism did.
Exactly.
And so, it doesn't make any difference whether you impose that definition on yourself or have it imposed on you.
Right. It's not good for the so-called beneficiaries or for the people that they're discriminating against. It's bad for everyone. No. We should just get rid of even asking people races and determining things based on the race. So, for example, President Obama recently started this Your Brother's Keepers program, and that's a program for disadvantaged black people and young black men, I guess, or women that are disadvantaged, using the characteristic of their blackness to identify them. Isn't that discriminatory? And shouldn't that program be Your Brother's Keeper for whatever color you are?
I think yes, but I think what he said was it is children who are in these experiences who are killing themselves in record numbers and destroying their communities. And these are black, some of them are Hispanic, some of them are white.
Okay, so if maybe I misunderstood the program because I thought it was only for blacks and Latinos, minorities, not also including whites.
No, he didn't just have blacks at that gathering. I was at the White House gathering, and he did not just have blacks there on the stage. But he said since black young people are disproportionately influenced by these negative indicators that some special attention should be given to these inner city kids. That's what he said.
Thank you for correcting my misperception. When I saw the news, maybe I just saw a short news clip, I thought it was only. So that's good, because if you're going to have a program, it shouldn't refer to people's color, right?
No, because low-income whites in Appalachia have some of the same pathologies as inner city blacks, high teenage unemployment.
Right. And there are some white people in those inner city black communities, right?
Yeah.
And they have
not many in Chicago.
But there are some. There are some.
Maybe one or two.
Anyway.
Who are really too poor to leave.
So you would be against all affirmative action programs that are based on race.
Yes.
So if a university uses race as a factor to give credits or special treatment to people from the black race or the Latin race.
I have written and spoken about it all my professional life as a civil rights activist. I left the civil rights movement on the issue of race-based affirmative action. I think that it should have been an ambulance service, not a transportation system. I think that when you have a situation the way we did in the 60s, where there's a town that's 50% black and no blacks on the fire department, city, yeah, you need some race-based affirmative action, but it should be a temporary means, and Voting Rights Act took care of that. And so, but then I think it should have been a temporary means that we should then dismantle, that we should have dismantled after a few years.
Right. In that case, the problem was that they were using race to determine who was qualified and who wasn't. And so they should have just got rid of the race and started to judge people based on their qualifications and their actions, like we said before, right?
Yep.
So I want to say that this has been a very interesting interview. You also share the same view as Dr. Ben Carson, which I interviewed. And so I'm glad that there's a lot of you out there doing the good fight.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.